Thanks for joining us here on the CBN News Channel. I'm Ephraim Graham.
And I'm Heather Sells. President Obama returns from his Hawaiian vacation today. He's ready to begin the second half of his term. He is facing a stiffer challenge than when he swept into office 2 years ago. The new Republican-controlled House is ready to fight his agenda, beginning with his controversial health care law. Charlene Israel has more from the CBN Newsroom.
Republicans don't take control of Congress until tomorrow, but they aren't wasting any time going after their top priority. As the president returns to work in Washington, House Republicans are preparing their agenda as well.
This is not a time for celebration. It's a time to roll up our sleeves and go to work.
The new Congress has the largest freshman class in nearly 20 years. 85 Republicans, only 9 Democrats. More than a third have never held elected office. Their first order of business, to repeal the president's health care law. But even if it passed in the House, the Senate is still controlled by Democrats. Plus, President Obama would veto legislation that attempts to repeal the law. Republicans say if they don't get enough support for repeal, they plan to go after the law piece by piece and even deny funding. Armed with what they see as a mandate from the people to take on the huge federal deficit and rein in government spending, they're even prepared to use the power of subpoenas to summon government officials to testify on Capitol Hill.
The sooner the administration figures out that the enemy is the bureaucracy and the wasteful spending, not the other party, the better off we'll be.
An upcoming battle will be a vote on raising the government's debt ceiling. Republicans say they'll vote against letting government borrow any more money, even if it means the possibility of a government shutdown. As a show of fiscal discipline, House Republicans have drafted new rules that will require lawmakers to show how they would pay for any new legislation that increases the federal deficit, with the exception of any legislation that would repeal the health care law. Charlene Israel, CBN News.
Charlene, thank you. Michael Steele's tenure as Republican National Committee chairman has been marked by gaffe, scandals, and controversy. That's why now he has 4 serious challengers for the job. They and Steele all showed up in Washington to debate and fight for the position Monday. Paul Strand was there.
Some say Michael Steele has so botched his time as RNC chairman, there's no way he can win another term. The latest blow came with word the RNC is $20 million in debt, giving the challengers to Steele, like Ann Wagner, former ambassador to Luxembourg, an easy route of attack.
It is time for some tough love at the Republican National Committee. How can an organization that has lost its credibility, is $20 million in debt, is steeped in mismanagement, distractions, and drama actually lead us into the next election cycle of 2012 and offer change?
Former RNC Deputy Chair Maria Sino says this is no time to be in debt when a hyper-expensive presidential race has already begun.
And the billion-dollar campaign is well underway. That's one of the reasons that the election for the RNC chairman is so extremely important.
Steele didn't directly answer charges, but pointed out he's headed the RNC at a time of huge turnaround from defeat in 2006 and 2008 to victory in 2010.
Time magazine claimed that we were an endangered species in 2009, not that long ago.
Whether or not former Michigan GOP Chairman Saul Anusas was thinking of Steele, he said the next RNC chairman has to talk and walk like a bold, proud conservative.
This is a center-right nation. This is a country that believes in our fundamental conservative principles. When we act and talk and work like Republicans, we win. When we start acting and voting like Democrats, we lose.
The next chairman has to win half of the 168 RNC leadership board members' votes. The front runner with a third of those sewn up already is former Wisconsin GOP chairman Reince Priebus. He said this position is important because the RNC is battling for the survival of the nation.
Our country is about to walk off a fiscal cliff. And as all of you know, pretty soon we're going to have more people riding the wagon than driving the wagon.
The RNC's main job is to raise funds and get out votes for Republican candidates. The election for chairman will take place January 20th. Paul Strand, CBN News, Washington.
Turning to the ongoing Middle East peace process, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says his government agreed to a new settlement freeze late last year, but then the U.S. stopped pushing for it. Netanyahu told Israeli media that he agreed to a 3-month extension on the previous freeze, but he says after he gave that message to President Obama, he received a surprising response. The U.S. decided another freeze would only lead to a dead end. This Thursday, Netanyahu heads to Egypt to pursue other ideas in reviving the peace process.
The U.S. may have backed off on its demand for a construction freeze in the West Bank, but the issue of building those Jewish communities is still one of the most divisive issues in Middle East peace talks. CBN News Mideast correspondent Julie Stahl explains.
Like every American administration for decades, we do not accept the legitimacy of continued settlement activity. We believe their continued expansion is corrosive, not only to peace efforts and the two-state solution, but to Israel's future itself.
Despite that view, millions of Christians worldwide still believe the Bible trumps political leaders when it comes to Israel.
I don't think that President Obama or his administration have any idea how much it does matter to God.
International Bible teacher Lance Lambert says this isn't the first time Washington has tried to divide the Promised Land.
These presidents sort of say to the Lord, we have to change this. You made a colossal mistake 4,000 years ago when you made a covenant with these people. You forgot the Palestinians. You forgot human rights. It's not politically acceptable. So we will divide the land into two states.
The modern-day community of Beit El, near biblical Bethel, is an example of the potential impact of U.S. policy. 4,000 years ago, the Bible says Jacob dreamed of a ladder to heaven, and God appeared to him, promising him the land of Israel to him and his descendants forever. According to Rabbi Eliezer Waldman, this dispute goes back to God's covenant with Israel.
It's not the settlements that are stumbling block for the peoples of the world. It's the establishment of the settlement of a Jewish state in the Middle East that is a stumbling block in the eyes of the nations of the world.
So as the world pushes Israel to give up its biblical heartland for the promise of peace, many Christians see a totally different result.
It is absolutely clear to me that the United States, the United Kingdom, the European Union, the Quartet, the United Nations are bent on this division of the Promised Land, which means that God will judge and judge and judge.
Julie Stahl, CBN News, Beit El.
Israel's chief rabbis are calling on the country to fight the abortion epidemic there. Ynet News reports a committee of rabbis found about 50,000 abortions are carried out each year in Israel. So rabbis across Israel have been giving a, quote, Exodus sermon. During the sermon, they bring up the biblical prohibition against killing the unborn.
Back in the U.S., a Florida sheriff's bid to get tough with local inmates has landed him in trouble with an atheist group. Jennifer Wishon explains.
The Polk County Sheriff decided to send a message to those jailed in the local lockup.
You don't come to jail to play basketball. You don't come to jail to have a good time.
So Sheriff Judd played Santa Claus with the jail's basketball hoops, having them dug up and moved to the property of 8 certifiable nonprofits. But they all happen to be local churches. If he was Santa Claus, then Ellen Beth Walks is his Grinch.
He played Santa Claus with county property. He had no business doing that.
Her group, Atheists of Florida, is willing to take this to court as a separation of church and state issue.
Everyone who is designated to get a basketball court is a Christian church. And that is absolutely unconstitutional under both the U.S. Constitution and the Florida Constitution.
The atheists now want Polk County to spend more money digging up their hoops again and moving them to parks, schools, or anywhere else that doesn't have a religious connection. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News.
Britain is having one of its coldest winters on record. December temperatures were the coldest in 120 years, averaging only about 32 degrees. Here at home, record cold temperatures in Florida. Tallahassee, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Naples, and West Palm Beach all reported record lows in December. The freezing temperatures are threatening to destroy crops there. Governor Charlie Crist has requested a disaster declaration for 35 Florida counties.
Flu season is upon us, and already some states are reporting widespread cases. Those states include Virginia, New York, Mississippi, Georgia, and Alabama. This year's flu vaccine is a good match to this year's flu strain, which means the shot is said to be highly effective. The CDC says if you haven't gotten your flu shot yet, it's not too late. You can also fight the flu by strengthening your immune system. That means getting plenty of rest, eating a diet high in fresh fruits and vegetables, and properly managing stress. Exercise, by the way, is a great stress reliever. Also, make sure to wash your hands often or use hand sanitizer. One more note about the flu, people are contagious a full 24 hours before they start experiencing symptoms, and they can remain contagious a full week after that.
A new blood test could transform the way we detect and treat many types of cancers. Johnson & Johnson is working with researchers on the test. It can spot a single cancer cell among 1 billion healthy ones. Doctors hope to use it to determine what treatment would be best for a particular tumor and quickly determine if the treatment is working.
Coming up, a closer look at that attack on an Egyptian church. Our expert says while attacks on Egypt's Christians happen often, this one is different.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
These are the greatest stories ever told. Presented by Academy Award winner Charlton Heston.
Thus saith the Lord of Israel, let my people go.
Join Charlton Heston as he travels the sacred lands of the Bible.
I'm going to take you with me on a journey exploring the stories in the Bible and the ancient land where they happen. This is said to be the very garden. This, the very rock where Jesus prayed for strength.
Now the Bible comes to life like never before. Time Life presents Charlton Heston's The Bible.
And Moses cast the tablets from his hands.
Praised by critics, this landmark TV series is now available on digitally remastered DVDs. You'll be inspired by the greatest stories from the Old and New Testaments, enhanced by historic works of art. Get Charlton Heston Presents the Bible on 4 DVDs for $49.99. Call with your credit card and save $10.
And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son.
And that's not all. You'll also get a free bonus DVD that takes you behind the scenes. And if you call in the next 10 minutes, we'll ship for free. That's an additional savings of nearly $7.
For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory, forever and ever.
Call now to get Charlton Heston's The Bible on 5 DVDs for just $39.99. Call in the next 10 minutes and we'll ship for free.
Now therefore go, and I will be with thee.
Call 1-800-748-5167 to order Charlton Heston Presents the Bible for $39.99 and receive free shipping when you call in the next 10 minutes with your credit card.
Protesters gathered outside an Alexandria church for a third demonstration today, voicing their anger over the bomb attack that killed 21 Christians New Year's Day. Security forces were also on hand to prevent the protests from spreading. Investigators believe a suicide attacker set off the blast as worshipers were leaving midnight mass. President Hosni Mubarak said foreign al-Qaeda operatives might have been behind the attack. Paul Marshall is with the Center for Religious Freedom at the Hudson Institute. On CBN's Newswatch, he spoke with Arlie Webb about the rising anger in the Coptic Christian community.
It's important to remember that the bombing in Alexandria, while it killed more people than anything in the last 10 years and had a different style, still it's not unusual. There are violent attacks on Copts in Egypt almost every week of the year. And many Copts are getting fed up. 7 were massacred last Christmas Eve, machine gunned as they came out of a service. Security forces killed 3 Copts doing repairs on a church. So it's ongoing, and even the U.S. State Department now speaks in Egypt of a climate of impunity. That is, if someone attacks Copts, nothing's going to happen to them. There's impunity. The attacks are increasing, and the Copts feel that they're simply not being protected. They're just out there being killed.
And so you would disagree with Egyptian President Mubarak, who says this is an outside influence like al-Qaeda?
This one may be an outside influence. The style is different. Most of the attacks I mentioned, the Christmas Eve attack, this was a drive-by shooting. Those tend to be local thugs, not much organization. This one could well be an al-Qaeda attack. It seems to be better planned. It looks like a suicide attack. So there could really be an escalation. So I would agree that this could be a different source, that is al-Qaeda. But again, to emphasize that these attacks are going on year after year, month after month.
What's behind it, Paul, in your estimation?
There's increasing radical Islam in Egypt. It's a country I go to quite often. And every time you see the signs, more women in Egypt are covered. 15 years ago, if you saw a covered woman in Egypt, you'd think she was a foreigner. So, and there's the influence. A lot of Egyptian workers go and work in Saudi Arabia. They get radicalized. The Saudis pump money into Egypt and Islamic educational institutions. So across the board, an increase in more radical forms of Islam and increased intolerance and increased tension.
But it is a sober reminder for those of us in this country who worship with relative freedom to pray for those Christians who are being persecuted in places like Egypt. Paul Marshall with the Hudson Institute. Paul, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Lee.
In Iraq, the new Minister of Immigration is asking Christians not to leave the country, despite the recent deadly attacks against their community. Dindar Najman says the government wants Christians to stay and help to build up their homeland. Last week, a string of attacks targeted at least 7 Christian homes in parts of Baghdad, killing 2 people and injuring more than a dozen. Christian leaders estimate 400,000 to 600,000 Christians still live in Iraq, but estimates were as high as 1.4 million Christians before the war.
Up next, they make food last longer, but trans fats will shorten your life. Learn more about the hidden dangers of processed foods.
What makes the miracles of Jesus even more miraculous? Standing where they happened, in Israel. Come explore Jerusalem, where Jesus opened blind eyes. Visit the hills of Galilee, where Jesus fed the multitude. Stroll through Capernaum, where Jesus lived and taught and healed. To learn more about standing where it all happened in Israel, visit www.goisrael.com. Come visit Israel.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Call our toll-free number or visit our website. A free idea kit and DVD will be sent to your home so you can discover all the benefits of owning your own pool. Compared to traditional pools, endless pools are simple to install, easy to maintain, and economical to run. Our precision-engineered pools enable you to swim or exercise against a smooth current that adjusts to any speed and ability. Endless pools are perfect for year-round health and fitness, relaxation, and family fun. Our free idea kit and DVD will show you how easy it is for the whole family to enjoy a pool right in your backyard or home. An endless pool or an endless pool swim spa can become a showplace for your home. Call our toll-free number or visit the website to find out more about endless pools. The free idea kit will show you just how easy it is to be able to swim at home.
What makes the miracles of Jesus even more miraculous? Standing where they happened, in Israel. Come sail the Sea of Galilee, where Jesus calmed a raging storm. Experience Jerusalem, where Jesus restored a paralyzed man. Explore Capernaum, where Jesus spoke a centurion servant into health. To learn more about standing where it all happened in Israel, visit goisrael.com. Come visit Israel.
You've probably heard the warnings to stay away from processed foods.
A lot of times it's hard to know for sure just what those foods are. Lori Johnson explains how to recognize them and why they can be so hazardous to your health.
Staying away from processed foods is easier when you remember they're foods that have been altered from their natural state. Have you ever wondered why processed foods stay fresh for months when the same food made from scratch starts turning moldy in just a couple of days? It's because food manufacturers use man-made ingredients to prolong a product's shelf life that unfortunately may have the opposite effect on our lives. For instance, trans fats are oils infused with hydrogen. They raise bad cholesterol and lower good cholesterol. Dr. Michael Aziz, author of The Perfect 10 Diet, doesn't mince words when he tells his patients trans fats will kill them.
Trans fats are really like plastic, and when we eat them, they incorporate in our cells, and the cells cannot communicate or talk to one another. In turn, hormones are disturbed. Weight gain follows, but more troubling, the risk for heart disease, cancer, stroke, infertility goes up.
Trans fats are common in commercially fried food and packaged foods, especially baked goods. But you won't see the phrase trans fat in the list of ingredients. Instead, look for the word hydrogenated. And beware of labels claiming no trans fats. They're often still in there because the FDA allows food with up to a half gram of trans fat per serving to be labeled trans fat free. The problem is those servings can be small, so we eat many of them, and those half grams add up. To give you an idea of how bad trans fats are, here in New York City, it's against the law for restaurants to cook with them. Customers like the ban.
We might as well be healthier, you know?
Vending machines are often loaded with processed foods. In addition to trans fats, they often contain too much salt, which can cause heart problems and creates a craving for even more salt. Another addictive ingredient often found in processed foods is high fructose corn syrup, which is linked to obesity and diabetes. Although manufacturers contend it's nutritionally the same as sugar, others say it's worse. Former FDA toxicologist Dana Flavin says while sugar is burned and turned into energy, high fructose corn syrup turns into fat, causing what's known as fatty liver. She also says sugar can make you feel full, but high fructose corn syrup does not trigger the body's satisfaction gauge, so you always desire more. High fructose corn syrup is the main ingredient in soft drinks, but is also hidden in foods like bread and pasta sauce. Dr. Stephen Sinatra, author of Metabolic Cardiology, says high fructose corn syrup and its chemical cousins are directly linked to high blood pressure and heart disease, which unfortunately most doctors treat with medication instead of going to the source.
He or she may prescribe drugs when only the best treatment is loss of weight, exercise, and restriction of simple carbohydrates, sugars. And high fructose corn syrup is atop of the list.
Below it, other syrups and sweeteners like dextrose, glucose, lactose, maltose. And speaking of chemical names, beware of monosodium glutamate, MSG, which adds flavor but causes high insulin secretion. And watch out for these ingredients, which usually contain MSG. Hydrolyzed protein, yeast extract, soy protein isolate, spices, natural flavorings, citric acid, anything hydrolyzed or autolyzed. Even white flour is a processed food. Its soft texture and mild taste is created by removing the most nutritious parts of the wheat berry, the bran and the germ. The starch left over is digested too fast in the body and could lead to weight gain, diabetes, heart disease, and cancer. By contrast, whole wheat flour includes the entire wheat berry, which is digested slowly, making us feel full longer. Processed foods not only create health risks, they also make you look old. Anti-aging specialist Dr. Doris Day, author of the book Forget the Facelift, says young-looking skin starts from the inside.
A healthy diet is critical. Some of everything you eat, for better or worse, ends up in your skin. So if you have a lot of soda or chemicals, that's going to be a stress on your skin. High sugar foods, highly processed foods, you'll see it in the skin for sure.
So although identifying processed foods and removing them from our diet isn't easy, it may be less trouble than dealing with the health problems they can create. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Millions of women worldwide love Bare Minerals.
This is smooth, it's nice, and it covers. I like that.
Only Bare Minerals looks like beautiful bare skin, while it covers whatever you want it to. And now you can get our latest kit with our totally new, totally spill-proof Click Lock Go Foundation. For over 75% off retail, our new kit comes with Bare Minerals Foundation in the shade that's just right for you. Warmth for a healthy glow. Mineral Veil, the ultimate finishing touch, and Bare Minerals Flawless Application Brush. Call now and get 3 full-size gifts worth $57.95 free. Purchased separately, you'd spend over $120. Our original Get Started kit was a great deal at 2 payments of $29.99. But now you can get all this for just 1 payment of $29.99. Save over $90 and get a 30-day money-back guarantee.
Call 1-800-376-4174. Ask how you can receive this handy compact. Call 1-800-376-4174 now.
It's impossible to close an open can with a pop top. Open cans spill in the fridge. What a mess. And open cans lose their fizz. What a waste. Introducing Bottle Top. It turns your can into a bottle with the snap of a cap. Open metal cans can't travel. What a waste. Bottle Top turns your can into a bottle that's perfectly portable. You can't do this with an open can. Bottle Top lets any soda keep its carbonation. Look, bugs are gross, but Bottle Top protects your drink from insects. When you're done drinking, just pop it off. Rinse under hot water and reuse. Bottle Top keeps drinks from spilling. Now get 6 colored bottle tops for just $10. Call now and get 6 more. Plus, we'll send you the Can Top Popper. Just pay separate shipping and handling. You get 12 amazing bottle tops, plus the Can Top Popper, all for just $10.
Call 1-800-377-9176. But hurry, call now. We're giving away a bonus 6 more bottle tops and the Can Top Popper with today's orders. That's 1-800-377-9176. Call now.
Well, it probably goes without saying that Miss America should have beautiful hair, but what if she had no hair?
That is the story for Miss Delaware, Kayla Martell. She suffers from a rare condition that results in hair loss, but that's not stopping her from competing in the upcoming Miss America pageant.
I couldn't believe that at 10 I was balding, and especially being a young girl, you know, your hair is kind of your crowning glory.
Kayla will bring 4 wigs to the January 15th Miss America competition, but normally she says she's without a wig.
When I go grocery shopping, when I go out with my friends, when I'm at home, I'm without the wig. That's me. That's the real me.
Kayla says she's on a mission to redefine the term beauty queen because, as she puts it, you can be bald and beautiful. And I agree, Ephraim.
I agree. Indeed. Thank you. And she looks good, too. Yeah. That is going to do it for this hour of the CBN News Channel. Remember, you can find information on all the stories you've seen here at CBNnews.com.
You can also stay up to date with CBN News through Facebook and Twitter. Hope you'll join us next time. Have a great day.
I'm Gary Haven, founder and CEO of Curves. I was fortunate to have read The Secret Kingdom before we founded Curves. Pat taught me that there were kingdom laws that were as valid as the laws of gravity. I was really excited to hear that Pat had put the principles on a series of DVDs.
I'm Pat Robertson. In Volume 2 of the DVDs on The Secret Kingdom, I'll teach you the secrets of greatness, responsibility, unity, and perseverance. The principles of the Secret Kingdom worked in Gary's life, and they can bring you success as well.
The Secret Kingdom played a big part in the success of Curves. And this year, that company, along with all the franchisees, is a $2 billion a year company. And that's a miracle.
Finding video on CBN.com just got easier. We've taken all our video, the 700 Club, news, testimonies, teachings, plus our 24/7 channels, and put them in one convenient location, CBN TV. Watch what you want, when you want. It's all simple to find. And now, easier than ever to email a story to a friend. CBN TV on CBN.com.